Hey, what's up everyone? So today, no, we're not going to show how to remove this tan line, but we are going to talk about our approach when we're doing such a thing like removing a tan line, especially removing a tan line, because we have to get past our own human perceptions and do things very methodically. And that is where Chroma Luma splits come in. If you've been on this channel for any amount of time, you've heard me talk about splitting chroma from luma, that is color from luminosity. So many different ways to technically do that. Everything from the way Dennis Dunbar will call divide and conquer, using two curves layers of different blend modes to target color, target luminosity, luma and chroma individually for various different reasons that are very, very powerful, to actual splitting, where we actually take the document and we decompose it into chroma and luma for very detailed things. And this. Now, I have mentioned many, many times before that when you go to fix a tan line like this, that you're not just dealing with brighter or darker skin. There's other elements involved, right? And so by splitting, and I've mentioned this many times on this channel before, by splitting up your procedure to start with luminosity first, then doing the color later is so much easier. Luma first, chroma second. But we're going to talk about why, because yes, many people understand and they told me, yeah, great, makes sense, thank you. And some people say, I get that it works, but what do you mean? Well, let me go over that. And if you've never seen anything like this before, maybe it'll help you get an idea of why we do that. For example, I have here, this is just a demo document. None of this should be considered something you should do in a workflow. It's just for demonstration purposes. I have some work already done. This is my dodge and burn layers. Okay, curves, darkening, curves again, brightening. Okay, these are my dodge and burn curves layers. Now, obviously, you might think, oh, well, I have a light area here on a tan line. I need to burn that, darken that, right? So you go about doing that. Let me just turn off our little color fix here. There we go. So let's say here on the burn, we can see what it looks like. That's the work I did, and a little bit of dodge to balance it out. We have a result, as you can see. Now let's zoom in a minute, because immediately you notice there's this weird green thing going on, right? And you're like, well, okay, I get what you're saying. I fixed it in black and white, and it's still a problem. We can prove this because if we turn on our desat, which there's many different ways to quote desaturate an image, but if we do the common one, which is our hue and saturation adjustment layer, and desaturate, apart from a couple little texture things and some details I didn't focus on, this looks almost done. There is no tan line there to speak of, except some minor heals that need to be done, right? But when we turn off the desat, like I mentioned a second ago, that's where we see the color problem, right? Okay, so we can fix the color. Right here, we have a blank layer set to color blend mode, and I painted over it with the same hue of the skin, and it more or less hides it. Again, there's some healing and stuff that we can do in there, but we went from this to this with just adjustment layers because we did our work in black and white, fixed the luma, turned off the black and white, and then we fixed the chroma. We have a great start here. We're 95% of the way there. And if I took a little more time this morning, I probably could have it even better than that. But still, you get the basic idea, but let's analyze why. So let's go ahead and turn off our work layers. Let's go ahead and turn off these. Now, let's do some analysis. If we do a hue map, okay, this shows us where our hues are landing. Apart from some areas right in the middle, which are a little bit more of a yellow hue angle, so they're going to be closer to about 30-35 hue angle. There, you can tell there's something there. Okay, cool, but it doesn't look that different. Why is our eye see such a huge difference? We turn on a hue map, it looks like there's no tan line. That's because the hue is not the main issue. What is the main issue? Well, let's turn on a chroma saturation mask. There it is. That's our problem. Our problem is saturation. So when you separate data to luma and chroma, it gives you a better control of what's happening so you can see what's happening. There's multiple elements, right? There's saturation, hue angle, and the brightness. HSL, HSB really, right? Okay, so you have those three elements. How do you balance them together when you need to make a tan line match or something else match? Well, you got to start breaking it down piece by piece. Start with the luma. Then when that's out of the way, the hue and saturation will be obvious, okay? So you start with the luma, like I said, you fix up the luma because we did it like this, right? Now, if we look at our hue map, it's no different at all. Let's look at our saturation mask. Turn off the hue map, okay? We still have a problem despite the fact that we fixed all that. So we solved L, which is lightness, right, or brightness. We solved that, but we did not solve everything else, okay? So if we do the color fix, turn that on, whoa, yeah, I have some spill over here because I did it kind of sloppy. But now suddenly we see that our saturation now matches. If we turn on our hue map, we can see the hue is absolutely perfect. The color fixes the hue, and the saturation is also fixed. Turn all that nonsense off and you get what appears to be a good result. But if you target, or rather if you start the process by just dodging and burning directly here in color, as you start burning and burning and burning, right? You go from this to this, you're going to be like, this is a disaster. And then you start, okay, it's a little bit better with dodging. And why is it green? And then you think, what do I do with the green? So maybe you add a hue and saturation layer and you start adjusting hue, or you do colorize. You're fighting against yourself, right? So don't fight against yourself. Don't do that. Start with desaturation, dodge and burn to make it perfect, turn off desaturation, colorize it, and there you go. And again, to re-illustrate why that's happening, if we turn on a hue map, we see the hues are almost identical on the tan line. There's no issue there. The issue in this case is saturation. In other cases, whether it's skin or something else, it might not be saturation. It could be hue. Your eye will lie to you and you'll think, oh, it looks fine, or it looks, I think I know what's wrong, but then you do a real analysis and you know what's wrong. Now, do you have to run these kind of analysis layers all the time in every edit? Absolutely not. Over time, you start to figure it out. Human skin, for example, when it tans, it doesn't just get darker, it gains saturation. That's just something you figure out over time, doing this enough, and you understand, okay, there's going to be a saturation problem in there. There also could very well be a strong hue difference. But again, your eye will lie to you because of the way we perceive things. We see a lighter line, we see a hip, and we think it's the same skin tone except lighter, and it's not. It's actually a slightly bit hue shift, but not much, and definitely saturation shifted. And this is why these analytical approaches will help you figure out, help you solve problems methodically. Instead of trying to analyze every single image and determine a step-by-step process to fix the hue, saturation, and brightness or lightness, we do a procedural thing, usually starting with luminosity, fixing that, then go to chroma, and it's very, very obvious to fix it. This kind of just gives you a little bit of an insurance, a little bit of a guarantee that you don't have to worry about, oh, will they match up or will they not? You're not working against yourself, if that makes sense. So I hope that little demo gives you an idea of why we analyze data the way we do. And eventually, it's sort of like I tell my photographer students, if you get an app on your phone to calculate focal length, not focal length, you use focal length to calculate your depth of field, right? Okay, there's depth of field calculators and they're great. Do you need that on set? Not normally, almost certainly not normally. But if you use a depth of field calculator regularly, even when you're sitting on the toilet, you'll get a basic idea of what depth of field does at different focal lengths, even different sensors, of course, and different subject distances, right? And you'll kind of have a better idea. So using these analytical approaches in Photoshop to turn on hue maps and to turn on, saturation masks, help give you an idea of what data is doing, what the image is doing. And over time, that'll make you a better retoucher because subconsciously you look at a situation and you go, I bet you anything the saturation here doesn't match. And you'll know how to approach it separately so then you can solve it independently.